Greg, what is that brass piece in the center of the toe board?
Okay, that's the ignition coil and switch.
Okay, and your left hole on your instrument panel will bear what?
Will be for the fuel pressure gauge.
And the right one?
For the oil pressure gauge.
All right, two important bits of information, I take it. And the right and left pedals?
Right pedal is brake, left pedal is clutch.
Okay, and I'm looking at a brass fitting.
That's one of the few cars in those days that had an accelerator pedal.
And that is an accelerator pedal of an unusual design, I take it. Okay, now we're looking at the toe board, and you just put two of those pieces in place, I guess.
Yeah, the floorboard's made of ash.
Yeah. All right.
And also got the floorboard done.
You're going to put that in for me?
If you like.
Yeah, would you?
All right, this will go back here. Now this is where you pinch your fingers.
That's precision engineering. What kind of lathe did you use to cut that off?
A milling machine, actually.
You talked about cutting some relief in something.
We just covered it up.
Oh, did we? Okay. Okay, Greg, we're looking at the rear deck. What do you got to say about it?
It's done all except for one tricky piece of woodwork, which is going to be, I got this upside down. And what happens is, maybe I have it backwards. What happens is there is a relief cut on the underside of these boards
Yes,
for the differential,
I
in
got you.
case it would come up. So this is going to be a scallop. It starts at 0 here, 0 depth.
Yeah.
And 0 depth here, and it goes to 1/2 inch deep in the middle. So that's got to get machined out, which I haven't decided how I'm going to do that yet.
Okay.
But that's the last bit of woodwork.
We're back to the pumps.
All right. Now this is the air pump for fuel pressure.
Yeah.
This is an oil pump, which will lift oil out of that auxiliary oil tank.
That silver tank there with the cap on it.
We'll suck oil out of that, and then on the downstroke, it injects it into the engine crankcase.
Okay. And I'm looking at what you call spare tire irons?
Yeah, these are...
And that's for 2 tires?
Yes, dual spares.
Oh, you needed them in those days, didn't you? Because
Yeah,
we were learning about balloon tires, weren't we?
Yep, and rubber compounds.
Yes, sir. Just as a matter of interest, Greg, tell me a little bit about these brake drums I see on the rear wheels, and I don't see any on the front, so I'm assuming is rear braking.
Rear brakes only.
Yes.
And it had internal expanding and external contracting. The internal expanding was the handbrake. The external contracting is the service brake, foot brake.
Okay.
And I don't have the shoes on it at this time.
And you probably know very little about their efficiency at this point.
Well, I know enough about these brakes to know that with rear brakes only, locking them up is not a good thing.
For what? Why?
You'll ground loop.
Okay. Tell me the pedigree on the steering wheel. Did it come with the original contents?
No, all I had was the picture and some dimensions. Actually, kind of a neat story. The steering wheel apparently was made by Jaycox, the manufacturer of the steering gear, because I did a 1911 Robinson fire engine, which had the very same steering wheel. And while the fire engine was under restoration, I borrowed the wheel, I doctored it up as a casting pattern, and I cast another aluminum wheel off of that one. And that put me in good shape, which left me the woodwork to do. And it's just about ready to put the key slot in it and get my steering hooked up.
Okay, there's some rods on the floor over here. Are they brake rods?
Brake rods.
Yes. I see some of them are connected up, some of them are spring-loaded, looks like.
And some are just laying on the floor.
Yeah, I see them down there. Give you a little more light.
There's still a lot of parts on the floor.
anyway, we can see some of it down there. Greg, I'm going to take a picture of some of your debris over here that you're still working on.
Okay.
How much of these fenders can you salvage?
Just the pattern.
Just a pattern.
Yeah.
They just rusty too far to save, right?
Well, you know, if you're doing a fender with a concave curve,
Yeah.
you can pound out dents, but when you're working with a flat fender, it's only flat once, which means a curved fender, if you bump the contour up a little bit, nobody knows. But a flat fender, like I say, it's only flat once. They would never be flat again. And they're rusted too badly.
Yeah, I see it. I see a hole all the way through over there in one spot.
So I'm lucky that I have them as patterns. That tells me how the fender's constructed and the dimensions.
What's the metal type?
Steel, just mild steel.
So you make flat pieces, and then when you rivet them together, where they'll form that mold, they'll form that shape.
Well, you have to make the flats in the proper shape that when everything gets riveted, it does pull in the right direction.
So will you disassemble those and flatten them to use them as a pattern?
No, I'll probably make cardboard patterns off of these and leave these intact in case someday somebody wants to do another one of these cars.